Yes.
Okay.
Mẹ nói chào sư đi mẹ. Chào sư.
Không nổi như bị ép tim á.
Phải đi đòi nợ.
Kiểu bị áp lực dồn trí vô trong cái đường cùng.
Cái này với công nợ là đi đòi nợ.
Đừng có làm, đừng có, không phải chơi giờ này đâu, phải giờ chơi như vậy thì nói tí một.
This is I think we are. It's already 7:30 Vietnam times.
Okay.
Yeah, we respectfully invite you to preach the Dharma for it. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
And before we start our class, let's recite Namo Tassa 3 times to pay respect to Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato
Namo
Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Okay. On the previous days, Ponsan Monastery Sayadaw came to my monastery. I was so glad to see you, Sayadaw, Ponsan Sayadaw. And now he is in Yangon. On that day, he said he will go to the Monday in Sakai to donate the earthquake building victims. So I was so glad to know each other and to see your respected, well-known Onsen Monastery, Seattle. Okay. My class is a bit free. No? Free. You don't need to write anything. I give just the knowledge on the Vipassanā perspectives. So I just repeatedly explained, and almost every classes, the 5 khandhas, the 6 iranas, and so on. Those are the same things. But even if we know these 5 khandhas or 6 sense space or 12 iranas and so on, we cannot easily understand, we cannot easily know how to apply it in the Vipassana meditation practice. To effectively implement those nature of dhammas in the Vipassana practice is really important. That is why I repeatedly explained the 5 kinds of khandhas. Today I continue to explain the 6 internal base and the 6 external base. We have 6 internal base. These 6 internal base meet with 6 external, external objects, we can say, external objects. What are these? First of all, the 6 internal base. Eye is named internal base. Ear is internal base. Nose is internal base. The tongue is internal base. The whole body is also internal base in this regard. And mental objects, the mind, we can say, the mind or consciousness is also called internal base. We have 6 internal base. These 6 internal base are the basis for arising, feeling, perception, mental formation, and consciousness. So based on these 6 internal base, feeling vedana arises. In the same way, based on these 6 internal base, sanya or perception arises, mental formation arises, and consciousness also arises. By arising like this, we have 5 khandhas, the nature of 5 khandhas.
Tại do đâu con nghĩ bằng
Thank
chăng
you,
chứ là tính ra
thank you.
How to meet these 6 internal base with the external base. If we have eyes and outside our body, there is the visible objects, visible forms. Visible form, that means the things we can see in our eye. All of those things can be called visible forms. Whatever we can see in our eye is visible forms. So you can imagine, you can guess, you can know. There are countless visible forms in the world. So since you opened your eyes sees one thing or another, or one thing or many things in your eyes. So all of those things you can see in your eyes are called visible forms from the Vidma perspective. So when we have eyes, when we open our eyes, we meet the visible form. Then seeing consciousness arises. It is the normal process everyone has. So when you open your eyes, you see something. At that time, seeing consciousness is arising. So it is very simple. When we open our eyes, we see something. That is very simple. But from the Vipassana perspective, in this regard, we need to know the cause and effect. The cause and effect. For example, when we open our eyes, we see a man, we see a woman, something like that. And also we know what we see a woman, a monk, or I see a virgin, something like that. So we understand, we know this. That is normal. But in the practice, we need to know in different ways. We try to focus on the reality of the nature. When we see a man, we see the man, that is okay. But from the reality perspective, from the Abhidhamma perspective, well, that is seeing consciousness. That is one way. When you see some persons, then that is seeing consciousness is arising. Just seeing consciousness is arising, not the person is seeing. Not seeing man or woman. Just seeing consciousness is arising. That is reality. But we need to try to focus reality as much as possible in the Vipassana practice. Because when we see the man from the Vipassana perspective, it is around you. Actually, we have seeing consciousness. No, we see them. At the same time, the feeling is also because seeing consciousness arises together with feeling, perception, mental formation, and consciousness. That is why when you see that you may differentiate it or consciousness, and you may follow the Vedana meditation, then at that time, that is a Vedana. And if you follow the Chaitanya mindfulness on the consciousness, then it is just seeing consciousness. In this way, when you clearly understand this reality, It is right view from the Vipassana perspective. From the Vipassana perspective, when you see a man and you think, I see a man, then that is wrong. There is no I, there is no man, no you. Actually, I is also the composed of mind and matter. You is also composed of mind and matter. Woman is also composed of mind and matter. Man is also composed of mind and matter. That is why. Where is I? Where is man? Where is woman? Just compound of mind and matter. We have I, and there is visible forms like a man or woman and so on. So the I and visible forms meet together and see rise. So I and visible form is the cause or reasons. Because of these two things meet together, seeing consciousness arises. So seeing consciousness is this effect. I and visible forms are cause. Because of these two causes meet together, seeing consciousness or I consciousness arises. So I consciousness is effect. So in this regards, you should reflect, oh, that is the cause and effect. Then that is also the right view. When you reflect, oh, that is seeing consciousness, that is also the right view. There is no person, there is no man, or there is no woman from the Vidama or Vipassana perspective. So we try to understand it in this new as much as possible. And the practice life. When we see things, it's okay. I see a car, I see a building, I see a goat, I see a dog, I see a man, woman. But we must have the comprehensive knowledge on this. That means, actually, we call the man, actually, there is a man. Just come out of mind and matter. I call myself I, even though I say I, actually, it is the compound of mind and matters. Mind and matters. Not the person, no I. The compound of mind. I realize like this. The compound of mind and matter. In the same way, when you see man or woman, then that is also the compound of mind and matters. There is no woman, there is no man, there is no monk, there is no I, or there's no you. From the Vipassana perspective, so you need to know these two areas clear. From the mundane perspective, there's I, there's a man, or there's a woman, there's a dog, or there's some building, something like that. So that is okay. We don't need to explain those things because it is not so much necessary in this case. But in the practice of Vipassana meditation, it is opposite to the ordinary person seeing. And that is why in the meaning, the meaning of the Vipassana tell us we We see in different ways. Seeing something in different way is Vipassanā. Vipassanā. So Vipassanā means seeing in different ways. What is the different ways? The ordinary people see men or women or something like that. That is normal. From the mundane level, it is okay. But from the Vipassanā perspectives, it is not like that. When you see something, the seeing consciousness rises. When you see someone also, seeing consciousness rises. So that is the different way of seeing from the Vipassanā perspective. That is why in the practice of Vipassana meditation, we need to know this basic knowledge first. So I give the basic knowledge for the Vipassana meditation practice. When you open your eyes, you see something, or you see someone. That is normal. But more than normal, you should analyze. You should analyze, you should see, you should understand more than normal. Oh, that is seeing consciousness. When I see someone, then I see someone I know from the mundane levels. That is okay. But from the Vipassana perspective, oh, seeing consciousness rise, or feeling is arise, or consciousness, yes, consciousness, the same feeling consciousness and consciousness. So feeling is rise, or seeing consciousness rise, or that is the cause and effect. There's a cause, there will be effect. According to this law, natural law of the Dhamma, seeing consciousness rise. There is cause. The cause is eyes and visible forms. So eye is also the cause to arise seeing consciousness. Visible form is also a cause to rise seeing consciousness. Because of these two causes, one consciousness arises. If we have no cause, seeing consciousness will not arise. So we have eye, and there are visible forms. That is why when we open our eyes, seeing consciousness arises. So that is very simple way. It is called reality. You see rightfully. That is why it is called wrong or right view. When you see a man from the Vipassana perspective, when you see a man, you think I'm seeing a man. When you see woman, you think you understand I see a woman. Then from the Vipassana perspective, it is all around you. To practice Vipassana effectively, we need to change this round view into the right view. Round view is the obstacle to the Vipassana practice. That is why we need to change our round views in our daily life into the right views in the practice of the Vipassana meditation. So I see something, seeing consciousness. I see someone, seeing consciousness. That is very simple. There is no person who sees. There's no one who you can see. Only just seeing consciousness. This seeing consciousness arises because of the causes. So that is very simple. When you understand this, then your understanding is right view, right understanding. So in the practice of Vipassana meditation, you need to apply this right understanding correctly. If you have the wrong understanding, then this wrong understanding will block your Vipassana knowledge. When you see the man, you cannot contemplate arising disappearance of man. You see, you cannot contemplate the arising and disappearing of that woman. When you see yourself as I or the person, then at that time also, you cannot contemplate the arising and disappearance of I or the person. That is why we have to remove our wrong view or our wrong understanding before we practice Vipassana meditation. That is why we need to clarify our minds. We need to purify our minds first from the wrong view. So it's a bit hard in the actual practice of Vipassana meditation because we are used to, we have long habits. We have long habits, that means we have such kind of habits since long time ago in the samsara, life after life. In every life we think I, you, man, woman, dog, and so on. The words may differ, but we think like this. Actually, all of those things are compound of mind and matter, not about same. So when you see some things, you just clearly understand seeing consciousness arise or feeling arise. You don't think you should not think as I see a man or I see a woman, just seeing consciousness. Only when you understand like this seeing consciousness just arise and then disappear in a short moment. Seeing consciousness arise and instantly vanished. Oh, that is a nature. That is a nature. Impermanent. It is not lasting long forever. Arising and disappearing. So if you see the person or the man or the woman, you cannot contemplate this arising and disappearing on this man or woman, something like that. That is why we need to, first of all, we need to, change our view from the wrong view to the view first. But that's why I explained repeatedly such kind of basic knowledge to apply it in the actual practice of Vipassana meditation. Now I hope you can understand this a bit more. And what kind of problems may happen if you link the person or the man or the woman with the wrong views? Actually, when you see someone who is attractive, when you see some beautiful ladies or handsome men, then you will attach to that person. Then the attachment will arise because of seeing consciousness. In Pali, it is called na. Sorry. When you see some lady who is attractive, or when you see some man who is handsome, then you love or you like, or you attached to that person. Then attachment arises because of seeing consciousness. Attachment arises. So attachment is not good mental state. It is a destructive mental state. That is why we need to avoid destructive mental states in our life. Vipassana, the aim of Vipassana is also to eradicate such kind of destructive mind or destructive mental states. So in order for you not to arise such kind of attachments, you need to see all that they see in consciousness, not the lady, not the girl, not the boy, not the man. You control your mind by understanding the seeing consciousness is arising and disappearing. You don't focus man or woman. You just focus only seeing consciousness. Shifting your focus on the man or on the woman, shifting your mind instead of man or woman to the seeing consciousness. So if you focus on the man or woman, then attachments or anger, destructive mental states will arise one way or another. So if you focus only the seeing consciousness, you neglect whether they are men or women, neglecting those names of persons or names of animals or names of people. You just focus on the seeing consciousness. Then the seeing consciousness automatically arise and disappear. Arise and disappear. There is no room for the attachment to arise. There is no room for the anger to arise. So, in order for you not to arise such kind of the attachment or anger, we need to focus on the seeing consciousness. Then the seeing consciousness is temporary, nothing lasts long. It arises and gone away. Just that. When you see this, seeing consciousness is arising and disappearing, then you see the nature impermanent. Oh, seeing consciousness is not permanent. It is impermanent. It is not a passing. It is not last long. So your view is right. That is why such kind of view is called right view. Right view in Pali, Samadhi. So you need to change your mind from the wrong view to the right view. So to practice this, I explained repeatedly. When you see someone, the ordinary perspectives, it is okay. You see man or woman or something, but from the Vipassanā perspectives, seeing consciousness just arising, just be. There's no person, there's no woman, there's no man, there's no I. Just seeing consciousness and just be. That is very simple. So you need to make it clear first before going into deep practice of the meditation. And the same way you may apply the other prayers also. When you have ear, you may hear the sound. You may hear the sound. That is normal. But for the ordinary persons, oh, I hear the sound. I hear the voice of the man. I hear the voice of the woman. I hear the blessed voice. I hear the unpleasant voice, something like that. So depending on these round views, the defilements will come into your mind streams. When you hear the pleasant sounds or the pleasant voice, you will feel bliss to it. The attachment will arise. When you hear the unpleasant sounds of voice, then you feel disappointed or you feel angry. Then the anger will get into your mind streams. So in order not to be so, we need to change our view in this case. We need to change our view. Oh, when you hear some voice from the Vipassanā perspective, oh, hearing consciousness arises and disappears. Hearing consciousness arises and disappears. The feeling also arises at the same time. That is why when you contemplate the Vipassana, the feeling arises and disappears, something like that. So let me say consciousness. No? Hearing consciousness arises and disappears. There's no person who hears. There's no person who sees the words. In this case, you need to get clear for hearing consciousness. Simply you can understand. If so, you don't need to attach to the voice or the sounds when you hear. If you think, oh, that is the lady's sound, the lady's voice, that is the girl's voice, that the pleasant voice, that is unpleasant voice, something like that. If you differentiate those voices, whether good or bad, then the destructive minds, the destructive mental states will arise. And also you cannot see the rising and disappearance of the mind or the voice. So in this case, when you understand clearly this hearing consciousness, then you may focus on this consciousness. This consciousness does not last long, for a second. You hear words, and it is gone. Another one, it is gone. You are listening to my words. So such kind of words you hear, one was after another, rising, disappear, rising, disappear, constantly. So you need to contemplate the rise and disappearance of every sound or every voice while you are listening. So two ways. One way is you trying to understand the teachings of the Dhamma. In the other ways, one was after another, arise and disappear, arise and disappear. Then there is no time for the attachment or anger to arise because your mind work together, trying to understand what I'm talking about. On the other hand, trying to realize the arising and disappearance of every sound or every word. So you work two ways, two things at the same time. At the time, you have no time to for the attachment to arise. So this hearing consciousness also arises because of the cause. We have ear, that is also the cause. We have sound, that is also the cause. Ear and sound coincident or meet together. Sorry. Hearing consciousness arises. The process is very simple. You try to focus the process of hearing consciousness. You don't need to focus on the buzzing of the sound or the voice. So that is the different way of seeing. The different way of seeing is called Vipassanā. The different way from the ordinary persons seeing or understanding. Ordinary persons who do not practice Vipassanā knows I hear the singing sound, I hear the bird sound, I hear the man sound, I hear the woman sound, and so on. From the Vipassanā perspective, it is not the right view, it is wrong view. From the Vipassanā perspective, all hearing consciousness rise and disappear. Then that is right view, samadhi. In the same way, you have nose and there is smell. You have nose, but there is no smell. You don't have smelling consciousness. If there is nose and there is smell, those nose and smell meet together. The smell come into our nose, and then smelling consciousness arise. So the nose and smell is false. Because of these two causes, smelling consciousness arise. The cause and effect, and also smelling consciousness. There is no person who smell. Because of cause and effect, because of two causes smelling consciousness arise. So in this way, you need to clearly understand the smelling consciousness. Then it is the different way of seeing. In the same way, when you have tongue or mouth, and there is the food or taste. So the mouth, the tongue, and the food meet together. Eating consciousness or tongue consciousness arises. If there's no mouth or there's no tongue consciousness cannot arise. And there's no food or taste, tongue consciousness cannot rise. We have tongue and there are a lot of foods or taste, but the tongue and the food does not touch together. Eating consciousness will not arise. So in this case also, you need to see correctly. There's no person who eats. Normally, I eat the rice, I drink the tea, I drink the water, something like that. Normally, we are thinking in our daily life. But in the practice of Vipassana meditation, we need to think in different ways. We need to view in different ways to be the right view. Or tongue consciousness arise, or eating consciousness arise. There's no percent. So eating consciousness arise in this sphere, eating consciousness arise in this sphere. Then you see the impermanence of eating consciousness. So that is the Vipassana knowledge. Eating consciousness is not lasting long. It does not last in a second. One eating consciousness after another, arise and disappearing, arise and disappearing, something like that. In the same way, body consciousness. Our body, they are tangible objects. That means that something to be touched. So our body touches something. So then body consciousness, sukha or dukkha, something like that, arises. So that is also the cause and effect. I will not explain in detail. You may understand by applying. I have already said. So body consciousness, sukha or dukkha, arise when something touches to your body, or you touch something outside your body, then the touching consciousness or body consciousness arise. I touch man or woman. Or woman touch to not like that. From the Vipassana perspective, just touching consciousness, touching or body consciousness. This body consciousness does not last long. It rises and disappears. So in this way, we need to understand in different ways from the ordinary people. Ordinary people, that means that normally we are in our daily life, we see, we touch something, or someone touched to me, something like that. That is the ordinary way of understanding. But from the Vipassana viewpoint, it is not like that. Just touching consciousness arises in the same way. In our heart, the mind arises. From the Buddhist Buddha's teaching, the mind base is in our heart, on our heart. So the mind arises, the thinking mind actually. Seeing mind arises in the eye. Hearing mind arises in the ear. Smelling mind or smelling consciousness arises in the nose. Eating mind or eating consciousness arises on the tongue. Touching mind or body consciousness or touching consciousness arises on the part of our body. But thinking mind arises on the heart or in the heart. The Buddha's teachings teaches us like this. From the Western philosophers, the mind arises in the brain or something like that. So I don't want to argue this, but according to the Buddha's teachings, I explain to you, the mind arises in the heart. So we have heart base or mind base, and we have thingible objects outside, thingible objects. When these two things meet together, thinking mind arises. That means we have mind base. There's something to think of, and then you think about the past, or you think about the future, or you think about the present. Then thinking mind, it is called thinking mind. Or you think about education, or you think can think about family, you think about your countries and so on. Different things, you may think, because the mind is so, the scope of mind is so wide. So you may think as you like. If you cannot see someone in your mind, you may think. If you wish, you may think of something you have never seen before. Or you may think of someone you have never met before. You may think of anything you have never seen before. In this way, you may think everything. At that time, what happens? At that time, the thinking mind arises. This thinking mind arises in the heart or on the heart. So that is also, you need to understand that is the thinking mind or mind consciousness arises, not the person who is thinking, not something I am thinking about, something like that. Just thinking mind, who thinking mind arises in Despair. Thinking mind arises in Despair. So today I explained 12 ayatanas, 12 bases to arise the mind or to arise the consciousness or the mind, we can say. 12 base, what are the 12 base, Eye base, ear base, nose base, tongue base, body base, and mind base. And the extra name, visible, found, sound, smell, taste or foods, and tangible objects which can touch our body, and thingible objects, whatever we may think or anything. So these six are external base. External base. We have six internet base, there are 6 external base. So these 6 internal base and 6 external base meet together. Then respective consciousness arise. In this process, we need to clearly understand they are just consciousness or they are just feeling or they are just perception and so on. You just clearly understand we are not the person. We are not the person. We are not the man. We are not the woman. We are not anything. Just the consciousness or the feeling or the mental formations or mind or matters or something like that. So in this case, when you see as explained to you, you are seeing is right. That is why it is called right view. If you see as the person, if you know as the person, then your seeing is not right. That is why it is called wrong view. We have wrong view in our daily life since long times ago in samsara. No? That is why the Buddha correct us from the wrong view to the right view. When you see such kind of right view, your view is right and you will understand the experience of the consciousness. Then it is called Vipassanā knowledge. For example, you see something, seeing consciousness arise and disappear. So arise and disappear, arise and disappear. When you understand this, so this understanding is the basic Vipassana knowledge. So I explained in detail about the 6 internal bases and 6 external bases. Okay, now it is time. Time is up. We have stopped here for this day. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sayadaw, for your preacher, for the teaching Dharma today.
Okay, any questions? If you don't have questions, let's close our class today, tonight. Okay, Rabbi Parami, Idame Bonya,
Idame punya,
Asawakaya, Asawakaya,
asawakaya,
Wahadu, Idame Bonya,
idame punya,
Vipannasa,
nibbanatsa,
Bajayo, Odu,
otu,
Imam Bonya Bagang, Sabha Sadhana, Bajima,
pachima,
Sadhu,
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 sadhu, sadhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, wish you
Thank
You're very
you.
nice.
Thank you
Be,
so much.
can
be
have nice
happy,
rest.
Nói gì?
happy.
Yes.
Một cái là nói
Sleep
hello
well.
nè. Hello Sayadaw.
Yeah.
Okay.
Phải nói là con mời đến thăm thiên
Goodbye,
viện của ngài.
Sayadaw.
Hello Sayadaw.
Yes.
Cứ phải nói là con mời đến thăm thiên viện của ngài thì ngài mới biết chứ.
Ngài không biết đâu.
I just came to
No thôi. Phải bật speak, phải bật hình lên thì mới.
Goodbye Sayadaw. Câu tôi nha bà
Goodbye,
Sayadaw.
Sayadaw.
Okay. See you.
Bye
We'll
bye.
see
See
you
you.
next Wednesday.
See you
I
next week. Thank you
appreciate
so much.
to listen to my Dhamma
Yeah.
teachings.
Yeah, thank
Okay.
you so
Thank
Thank
much.
you so much,
you so
Sayadaw. Yeah.
much.
Please take
Stop
Okay.
rest.
here.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Sadhu, sadhu,
Con dạy cho
sadhu.
Sadhu.